Larry Groce, mountainstage.org is where you can hear the show if it isn't on your public radio station. And today with me is Mr. Daniel Lanois, because Black Dub is on Mountain Stage this week, and we're excited about that. Let's talk a little bit first about Black Dub. You first were on Mountain Stage, believe it or not, I think it's 21 years ago, after Akadi. Was that your first record?
Yeah, that was my first record.
And I think it was 89 that you came here. It must have been about the time it was released. So we've been a fan ever since. You've come back with, I think, pretty much all of your CDs. But Black Dub is, Brian Blade is here.
Yeah.
And I don't think you have the same bass player. Daryl's not here.
Daryl's not here. He's back in LA. So we have Side Pipe Wilson.
And you have a new singer that we have.
And Trixie Whitley.
Who's a really great singer.
Oh, she's fantastic.
I don't know if you live there all the time, but you have a place in Jamaica.
Oh, Jamaica. That's where I hang my hat. I got a nice little house in Negril.
Yeah.
I went there some years ago to work with Jimmy Cliff, and I fell in love with the culture and of course, all the music influence.
Another sound is dying. Another sound is dying. Bring me along.
Talk about dub music for a minute, because some people may not know what that is.
It's kind of it's a term used for, I believe it came from Jamaica, and the likes of Lee Scratch Perry invented a form, essentially. And they were just using cheap equipment that was available to them at the time. They used a lot of spin echoes. And so that's how the term dub started. You would extract from available ingredients and do spins of that. And so I still like to carry the idea of carrying the torch of the dub. So we've invented a new kind of dub in Black Dub. I mean, you don't hear it so much live, but on record, there's a song on there called "Love Lives" that displays the technique.
Take a look at that. That's the new CD, Black Dub, and it's as you can imagine, a wonderful sounding CD. As I assume that you know, Daniel is also one of the great pop music producers of the last 2 decades, and very influential in all of pop music. But I want to stay with talking about the writing and the performing for a while here, because that's what you're here for. You're not here to produce anything.
Well, no, I'll talk about anything you want to talk about.
The sound that you've had since almost the beginning, to me, it is a kind of reverberant sound. I mean, there's always this atmosphere. And how did you come into that feel, that idea?
Yeah. Well, it started in 1979, 80, around there, when I met Brian Eno, and we made a lot of really inventive records, ambient records, instrumental ones. There's one called Apollo. That's really quite a beauty, and it features a lot of guitar playing. So it was about 3 or 4 years of experimentation in the ambient world. So it was really Eno's thing, and then when we went to work in Ireland with U2, we transported that sound to Dublin, and it was embraced on a U2 record called Unforgettable Fire. And so that was that era, and then the sound, of course, has evolved through the different chapters of my life with work. And I don't use reverb, funny enough. It may sound like it, but I use echoes, I use repeats.
You grew up in Quebec, right?
I did grow up in Quebec.
And what music did you hear as you were growing up? Before you met Brian Eno, what were you into?
Well, as a kid, I probably heard a lot of the music you heard. You know, we lived in a folk music territory. It was a self-entertaining society, so the weekends was a gathering time, usually at somebody's house, and my dad was a fiddler, as my grandfather was. So they'd play some of the classics of Quebec, but they're not unlike some of the sort of Appalachian melody, because it's melody. And the one thing that never goes out of fashion, no matter what happens with music, is if you can have a strong melody, then that really that's attractive to listeners.
Sweet empire times before the bomb burned out the ride. Silver riding, silver nights on Silverado. The fever was so strong, and the nights were never wrong. Silver riding, silver nights on Silverado.
And with Trixie on the vocals, she has a very powerful kind of southern bluesy almost voice. It's a very interesting voice.
Yeah, she's a great soul singer. We like to use the term soul as a sort of a banner or barometer that we operate by, because if we could think of soul as music that comes from a deep place, that comes from feelings, we like to operate that way.
Gone back to performing a little bit. How long are you going to stick with this record before you get involved in another production?
Well, there's no production on the horizon, just Black Dub. I may do an instrumental record with Brian Blade. We got a good start on it, and so maybe one more session with him will give me the content for quite a blazing and inventive instrumental record. But aside from that, I'm dedicating myself to Black Dub. We're going to tour again in the new year, and probably right on through into the summer, go to Europe in the summertime, and then we're going to huddle up under a coconut tree in Jamaica and make the next one.
It sounds like big fun. So you want to see them in live. You'll get a sample on Mountain Stage, but this is a small sample. Your website is?
I think if you look up Black Dub or Daniel Lanois, you get to that.
Out.
And we're also on YouTube. There's lots of nice films. We carry our own cinematographer, Adam Bollock, and he's here with us today.
Go see them in person, and this is the CD, which is really, really, as you can imagine, a wonderful sounding CD. Black Dub is the name of the quartet. Mr. Daniel Lanois, thanks for coming back and seeing us.
Nice to see you.
Yeah.
I believe that winter comes for the rise of the spring is on. A patient mind knows the favor. We'll wait for heartbeats to reach the table. You gotta sing, sing, sing for the night. Sing for your supper, sing for what's right. Sing for the Holy Ghost, sing for yourself. Sing for the new sky above.
Let's turn a candle to volcano. Dust in the wind will be feeding the silo. Sing to the sky and break these chains.